Angelica, how about you? How are you feeling about your English after almost a year in the club? Almost, if not.
In
When did you
October.
join?
It's a year in October.
Okay, I knew that you started almost at the beginning, right? September was our first
Yeah,
month, and you were
October 14th.
October. Okay, all right. I knew it was almost a year for you. How do you feel about your English a year later? Do you feel much more confident? You said a little bit so, but how do you feel today?
I feel amazing, and that
I like that.
progress sometimes even overwhelmed me, and
Good.
it's unreal. And I feel uh, mm, more and more comfy with my English, and it became more and more spontaneous, and the more I listen to natives to use this English to live my life, a big part of my life in English,
Right. Good.
the more the more improvements I see, and sometimes I use words I don't know how I come up with them so fast, so quickly.
This is
And
the
the more
best
I
response.
do anything, read, listen, listening to the news, watching the news,
Mhm.
listening to the radio, my listening skills improved um, really much.
Uh, a lot.
Really, a lot,
We're
a
gonna
lot,
improve. A lot's always a safe word. With much and many, a lot.
a lot. Even my brother used to watch series in English, but with Polish captations, but in English. And when I don't see the screen, caps. Yes, I know
Captions,
that.
captations,
That's me. That
captions. Yeah.
mistake. Only
That's,
mistake.
I didn't want to interrupt. That's why I type a lot in the chat so you can keep talking and then you'll see the word when
Yes,
you're ready.
captions.
So
Yes, yes, I know. Um,
good.
but when I don't see the screen and he watch the series and I only hear uh, the English language, I realized I understand. Now I understand way more than this almost year ago.
Excellent.
Yes.
Angelica, would
So,
you mind if I came back to this lesson and I clipped what you just said and just use it for my, like, we'll call it a personal accolade. Would you mind if I used it and maybe shared it on LinkedIn just for people to see what you just
but
said? Because it's fantastic.
when? Where?
LinkedIn, would you mind?
I'm not sure.
Because what you said is
Uh-huh.
just the best thing you could say to me. And it's something with my academic circles, I'd like for them to see it. And because some people are like, oh, Jacob, this idea you and Michael have is crazy. It's not going to work. What did you just,
Why?
because
That was awesome idea.
it's non-traditional. That's why. What we're doing
Um,
is a little bit different. There are other people doing similar things. Did you by chance see Michael? He had he was interviewed on someone else's YouTube. Was it Monday?
Joe, I think. No,
What was his name? John, Joe,
Joe, no,
Joe
something.
English. That's it.
Some.
I think it's Joe English, a guy he's not Italian, but he's living. I don't think he's Italian. He's
mhm.
living in Italy and he teaches Italian students. Michael was interviewed by him the other day, and again, there are other people doing this, but I'll be honest with you. I've been thinking a lot about this in the past week. Starting an English program online was way easier to do in China because there are so many Chinese people, one, that you only need a few people, like a small percentage of the population to join your program for it to be a really big program, right? So it's easy, it was kind of easy to make startup money, if that makes sense.
But now you
And
have
again,
the
it's not
whole
all about
world.
the money. It's just it's a lot of people who are looking for lessons. So you can charge a little bit so the price is really cheap. My classes were really cheap, but I had so many people joining that it made it easy to grow that in China. And people in China were very open to online education for this. In the West, in the US, people are still kind of back and forth. We had the pandemic, a lot of schools went online, um, only for a short time. But a lot of parents say, oh, no, it's not the same. Oh, no, it's not as good. I completely disagree. It's as good if you make it as good. It has a lot to do with the
Yeah.
effort you're putting in. If you're in a traditional classroom, you know, and Angelica, you fall asleep, I'm the teacher, I can say, Angelica, wake up. I can do that. Online, Angelica, wake up. I can't, you know, toss something at you or tap you on the shoulders. It's different. So for kids, it can still work. They just have to learn to be disciplined and focused, right? Our kids did fine with online school when they took classes, totally fine. But some kids, you know, their parents don't pay attention to them. Their parents say, "Oh, he fell asleep. It's okay." I'm like, wake your kid up. That's our job as a parent to keep our kids focused. But anyway, a lot of people just don't think it works. And every once in a while, in my academic circles, they'll say, Jacob, traditional school is the way to go. We need traditional accreditation. We need this and that and the other. And I say, no, your success is how many people you help. And this is an education in general. In general, education is helping people to understand something they don't understand already, right? Whether it's English, whether it's math, science, history, doesn't matter. What were you
I
thinking?
just want to say that you and Michael didn't only help me with my English, you literally changed my life. And that's
I'm not going to
incredible.
get emotional when you say that. Nope,
That's
that one hit
incredible.
right here, Angelica. Really, and I mean it. I'm not kidding you.
And you know what's the best
That means
benefit
something.
with this club is not to these lessons that they are amazing and these classes are very useful, but you show us the path to improvement, and just this Michael's advice to live your life in English. It's so simple, but no one ever mm, mm, told me that, and I didn't realize I could do this, and didn't know how to do it.
This is where Michael and I really, this is why I work with Michael. This is where we agree so much. A lot of people take, again, a traditional route to trying to teach English and standardize it in a way that it's been standardized for years. But there is, in my experience, I've been teaching since 2010. My experience has taught me that there is another way, a more natural way to do it. And Michael, the way he thinks about it and the way I think about it is very much the same, right? And Michael's a little younger than I am. I'm not telling you how much younger, but he's a little younger than I am. And so when I met him and he described his idea, I thought, this is exactly what I was doing in China. This is exactly what he's doing on social media here is very similar to what I did in China. I told him I don't have the energy to do the social media again. I did it in China and it's exhausting. It's a lot of work. Now I have a family. I have people to watch out for, right? I don't have that time. So anyway, it's a really good combination for the two of us. Angelica, pretty please, could I share what you said? You can tell me
Yes,
no, it's okay.
yes, of
But
course.
again, what you said and the way you said it was so well said. Esther, do you agree? She just articulated it very well. And it
Look,
does.
in
I want you to
October,
watch
I
it
was
later
sure
too.
I couldn't
See
speak
how you
English,
score.
and no one ever uh, could change that. And in December, at the end of the last year, I started to improve my American accent, and I started to believe I can
Your accent has
speak.
changed too, by the way. I've been
Yeah,
noticing the past,
good to
it's
hear.
maybe the past 2 months. I've noticed I
Oh.
still hear the Polish accent. It's still there. But I also, Michael said this, I think he said this in the podcast with Joe on Monday, that you don't have to get rid of your accent. Your
Mhm.
accent is part of who you are. And I'm a big believer in that. Some people say, no, no, I must get rid of my whatever accent. No, you don't need an American accent because you're not American and it's okay. Not everyone needs to be American. Does that make sense? Not everyone in the world needs to be American. But speaking English, right, with your accent gives you that character and personality that makes you an individual, right? And when I hear English spoken with a little accent, I love it. I love to hear the accent.